Good morning, everyone. This is Barbara Carroll, and I am excited to have the opportunity to share with you about Zoom-in parties. I had the great honor to speak at our national convention about this topic and promised that I would do a recording of it as well so that you can have the information to use for your future reference. So that's what we're going to do here today. We are going to talk about Zoom-in parties. I'm going to do my very best to give you a clear recording on this, and I'm also going to give you some extra information as well that I wasn't able to present at convention just because of time constraints. So first thing I want to say to you is this. Zoom-in parties, I believe, are absolutely the future of our business. I believe that people want personal connection, but they also want it in a virtual format, and they want it in their time and in their way, and it has to be super convenient for them. So if you think about it, we started our business with home parties. Just a few years ago, we moved into Facebook parties because people were looking for that convenience. Now we're looking at the opportunity to give them not only convenience, but the personal connection. And so that's where this idea of Zoom-in parties came from. I started thinking about this probably about 6 months ago, and then I got my friend Jan Thayer on board with me. And Jan and I spent several months testing things, figuring out things, just putting all the components into place so that we could turn a Zoom-in party into a reality. Along the way, there were a number of other people that I collaborated with, my team, the Osborne Hawk team, lots of different people. So there are, this is a collaborative effort. So some of the information that, I might share with you might have actually been someone else's idea. So I'm just going to be open about that right now. But here it is, Zoom-in parties. I'm going to try and give you sort of an overview from start to finish of how you can do these parties. So first thing for you to know is that Zoom is free. It is a free app that you can download from the App Store, or you can go to zoom.us and use it from a desktop or a laptop as well. It is free for up to a 40-minute time frame, and you can have up to 50 guests. The presentation that I'm going to share with you today, as well as the recording of an actual Zoom party, is based on the free use of the use of the free app for 40 minutes, which is why I have anchored Facebook at the beginning of the Zoom party and Facebook at the end of the party to make that all come together. I will tell you, though, that you can absolutely look at purchasing Zoom. I did, and I pay $14.99 a month for it, just like we did for our auto hosting services, or maybe a little bit more than that. And so my Zoom parties look maybe a little bit different than what I'm going to share with you, because I tend to be on with my guests more like an hour or an hour and a half, believe it or not, on Zoom, because they're comfortable, they're having fun, they're in their home, and they can say, I want to see this book and I want to see that book. And so you can go at this either way. Want you to know that. So here's what Zoom is. It's a video conferencing app. You have screens where you can see everyone, and that's a good point to share with you today. The video, the content that you're going to be seeing was recorded on my computer, so you are looking at it from the view that I would have as the presenter. Now, your guests can choose to look at just the speaker, or they can look at a number of people. And on a phone, it works slightly different than it does on a computer. So that's important for you to know as well. It looks a little different. You have a chat box that you can use with Zoom, which is a fantastic way to allow people to speak to you during your presentation and for you to be able to interact with them and for them to interact with each other. You can also screen share. So I use that for showing things in the catalog. I bring up the flippable catalog and show them series of books in the catalog. You can really use this any way you want to use it. You could be showing, a graphic of the June Kids Special right now. You could use that in so many ways. I'm introducing you today the very basics of what this way of partying can look like. And the beauty of it is, with all things in our business, that you can take it from there and build it into anything you'd like. But the basics are in place to make this successful. Zoom is easy to join. It is free. It is, you don't have to create an account. You download an app, and you're pretty much ready to go. They may ask for your email address. I think that's about it. And then you, as the consultant, provide them with a link that they can click on to join at party time. It's interactive, it's fun, it's live, and it is completely and totally awesome. That is my view of it. I think it is phenomenal. Okay, so the first thing I will tell you about working with this, with Zoom, is that you have to start hostess coaching in a different way. You have to make sure that you are hostess coaching really the way we used to for home parties, where you are reaching out personally to your hostess to convince her to be on Zoom with you, to share with her how easy it is. And the very first thing I do is I Zoom with my hostess. Once I have sold the party concept to the person, how exciting it is, how new it is. This is, cutting edge. You get to be part of something that's really new, exciting, and it's going to be so much fun. Once I've sold that to them, then the next step is to Zoom with your hostess immediately. And I have found that to be a very beneficial piece in that. And this is that I'm talking to them on Zoom. I'm showing them how easy it is, because they're the conduit to their guests. I'm not going to have a lot of interaction with those guests prior to the party, because this isn't a Facebook party. So I need her to sell the idea of how easy Zoom is and how fun it is going to be able to see each other. Part of the hostess coaching with her also is that I'm going to encourage her to invite 25 to 30 people in order to get 10 to 15. And I'm going to tell her, invite people that you know well enough that you would invite into your home. Those are the kinds of people that we want at a Zoom party. Now, this makes a ton of sense for us as consultants and for our business as well, because these people that know her better are more likely to show up. They're more likely to purchase. They're more likely to be invested because they get to see the hostess. They might get to see her brand new little baby. So it all makes a ton of sense, but you've got to make sure that you're coaching them to invite people that know them well enough that they'd want to see them and want them to see what they look like, in their jammies or whatever. So that's a critical piece. Another critical piece is the personal message, as always in this business. And I think we really do a good job of training the field on that. The message has to go from one person to another person. So no mass messaging. Your hostess, you need to ask her, how does she best communicate with her friends? And if it's by text, then you give her a sample little message for text. If it's in Messenger, you give her that. If it's an email, you give that to her. So you provide her with the scripting and whatever tools she needs to communicate one-on-one with her guests in the way that they most likely communicate. I encourage you to use Facebook as an invitation and an information tool if the hostess uses Facebook with her friends, if she is a Facebook user. If she's not, I've had very successful Zoom parties with people that just emailed everyone. And I, had to give them the link by email. I created everything, or I should say modified everything from Facebook format to let her deliver that information to her guests via email. Not everyone is on Facebook all the time. I realize a great percentage of the population is, but I want to work with the entire population. So if you've got Facebook savvy people, then you're going to use Facebook as the invitation and the information tool. You're not going to sell to them a lot on Facebook. You're not going to give them you're not going to, posting to the event 2 or 3 times a day. You're really going to set up that event about 3 to 4 days before the Zoom party and post maybe once a day leading up to the Zoom party, building excitement for our books, building excitement for the party, and helping them see how easy it is to use Zoom. Here's an example of what my event graphic looks like and what my message is to them. I want to get the word out to them right away about the type of party experience that this is, so that they are realizing it's going to be live and that they're going to be at home and that it's not a Facebook party and it's not a home party. So that's why we have this message here. Also, I want them to look at the catalog online beforehand. I'd love for them to do that. So I share that information as well. Now, once I, have Zoomed with my hostess, I'm going to take her step by step through how we're going to get everybody there, and I'm really encouraging her. Really, the messaging, a lot of that looks very much like how we're doing it on Facebook. A first message asking for a yes, maybe, or no, and then I give them a second message that has the link to the Facebook event so that they can then get on the Facebook event and I can deliver the rest of the information regarding the party to them. Remember, this is an information tool. It's not a sales pitch. So you want to keep it simple on there. You go live with a welcome to them and show your excitement. You explain Zoom. That would be probably my first post to them. My second post to them, probably day 2 or maybe later on day 1, would be to post an overview video of our book. So, hey, what do you know about our, if you aren't familiar with our company, you're going to love to see these. If you are familiar with Usborne Books and More, here's our latest and greatest. Oftentimes on this particular post, I will go with the newbie or nut graphic, and then I will ask them in the comments to let me know whether they're a newbie or a nut. Okay, the next day I'm going to post for engagement. I really would love them to connect with me on Messenger if that's where they are at. And so I'm going to ask them to share with me 2 facts and a fib about their hostess so that we can do a fun little game the night of the party. With that information. You'll see that game in my live presentation that I'm going to share, but the idea is that I'm going to give them something to respond to me with that's going to be super fun, and it connects them with me in Messenger, which we all know helps a lot. Next post is going to be probably the day before, posting how to get onto Zoom, how to do it. And I've got some graphics that I'll share with you at the end of the presentation that will make a little bit more sense on this. And then the day of, I'm going to post probably 2 or 3 times that day, and I'm going to post the link for Zoom. I'm going to remind them how easy it is to do it, and then I'm going to do like a 15 minutes before the party post as well. And again, some of those are included in the graphics for you to take a peek at. So now we are ready for the Zoom in party. So at the party, I want to right away break the ice with them. I want to get them comfortable with each other, and we want to have some fun. And so let me show you how the introduction at the party works.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Elise. I guess I know Kelsey from, we were yoga buddies at the gym, so kind of got to know each other through that. I have one daughter, and she is a year and a half.
Awesome. Hey, Jan, will you go next?
Sure will. Hey, Kelsey, it's great to see you. Kelsey and I used to be neighbors until I moved away, and I moved way far south, so I never get to see her, so this is great that I get to see her. Hey, Kels.
That's fun. Awesome.
I have a 13-year-old son who likes to read, and he likes to learn about like building and stuff. So if you have anything like that.
Okay.
And he would love that Special Forces book right behind you.
Oh, cool. That's a whole series. So that's one for us to talk about for sure. Okay, so you can see how we kicked it off. I called on people to make it a little bit smoother for them. Again, what you're seeing here is my view as the consultant where I can see everyone at once. You can also change it in Zoom to speaker view so that you can be looking at this at the person that is speaking. Another thing I should make note of, very much like Facebook Live, you have to go into the settings of Zoom and change the view. And I'm not going to remember what the exact verbiage is on that, but just play around with Zoom because initially it shows you a mirror image, so your books are backwards, and you're going to want to fix that. And once you fix it once for all in Zoom though, so you don't have to do that each time, but I wanted to make sure and bring up that point for you as well. So we're meeting the guests, we're getting the party rolling. This is going to be fun. So after we've done the introduction, then the next thing I want to do is I want to break the ice a little bit. So notice how fun this is. You can see people's children. You can see expressions. This is a really funny opportunity here to do 2 facts and a fib. And I'll just let you watch this video and see how this unfolds because it is hilarious.
Fact or fib. And then Kelsey will let us know what it is after everybody types in there. So, okay, so let me find my notes that you guys sent to me. Let's see. Okay, so Kelsey has an irrational fear of grasshoppers. Fact or fib? Ooh, fact, fib, fact. Interesting.
Very interesting.
All right, tell us.
I do have a completely irrational fear of grasshoppers. Legitimately, thanks to my sister.
She tortured you with grasshoppers?
She did. She told me that the goo that they spit was acid and it would burn my skin. And then she would touch them and shove them down my shirt.
See how fun that was? That's the kind of interaction that you can have on Zoom. And so this is one game that I like to play, the 2 facts and a fib. If I'm not getting a lot of response on that, then with, again, the help of my friend Jan Thayer, I heard about this other little game that you can kind of play where you're giving points to people. How many people came to the party without pants? How many people ate chocolate today? You can be as outrageous and as fun as you want. The goal is to get people laughing here, and you can see that there was some fun had with this party game. And so whatever it is, you want to have something integrated here because these guests might not all know each other well, and the opportunity to kind of right out of the gate help them realize that this is going to be fun and interactive. That's a very powerful thing. So use a game of some sort here right after your introductions to kind of get things rolling. Now, after I've done the introductions, after I've done the game, then I move right into a home party where I'm doing an introduction of who we are and why these books are the books that you want in your children's lives. I pepper in some reading tips. I love to give value. Many of us, use the Read Aloud Home Show using Jim Trelease's tips for years. I love to couple that with books, with fun, with excitement, to just really give a well-rounded party approach or a party experience, really. So that can kind of be part of my intro. And then I move into showing the books. And I'd like to show about 10. And during that time, of the showing the books, I am screen sharing. So I may, for example, show something from the Lift the Flap series. Then I am able to screen share on Zoom. I am able to show different series in the catalog, like the Peek Inside, and then I can show them the Lift the Flap question and answers, and then See Insides, and so I can show them whole groupings and series of books using the screen sharing application of Zoom. And that is so powerful. It's so helpful because we in general create a lot of our books in series. Now, maybe some of the picture books from Kay Miller, that sort of thing, not as much, but you could show them as a grouping and just talk about, we have the most impactful, beautiful, informational picture books around, covering all different kinds of subjects. So whatever you can do to make that 10 books, to kind of broaden that and to talk about series and to talk about things in general will help you, because you don't want to go too long here. You will have more opportunity, though, to share with your guests and to give them an opportunity to share with you. I try to pepper in my showing with showing the books with questions to my guests. You might have noticed in the video clip, as people are talking to me, I'm taking notes. You know, Kelsey has a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. Katie has, you know, a 12-year-old twins. I'm marking that information down on a sheet of paper as I'm talking to them, which is another brilliant thing about Zoom compared to a home party. And believe me, I still love to do home parties, but I'm just saying that you can be writing things down. People can't tell. You can be using a script to do your parties on Zoom because they can't see all of you. They can only see parts of you, and that's really, really beneficial. So make sure you take notes as you're going through the introductions, because then you can ask specific questions of people as you're showing the books to sort of start building the interaction with your party guests. Now, after I've done those 10 books, then I move immediately into Pretend Hostess. Now, I don't have a hostess with me, so I have created, actually I haven't created, Jan Thayer told me how to do this. I do Pretend Hostess, holding up each book, I say the name of it, and then I put it on the stack. And so you take the Pretend Hostess concept where you're showing them how many books an average hostess gets, but instead of stacking it on someone's lap, you're creating a stack in front of you that will go all the way up to the top of your head. Or maybe that's just me because I'm short, but it will stack up high, and then you can show them the books that they are going to earn for free and half price. Now, the beauty of this is you say each title, you put it on the stack, you keep the spines facing towards your camera. Then at the end of that, and after you've talked about joining the business and, you know, all the benefits of being a UBank consultant and all the reasons why they should join you, after you've done all of that and you've introduced a drawing slip in order to collect information, then you have an opportunity to go back and show them the stack of books and say, what else would you like to talk about? Now, I may be getting a little bit ahead of myself in this presentation, but when you watch the live party, you will see a little bit better how this unfolds. Let's talk about tools. So the tools that are present for you on Zoom, the chat box, you can use that for interaction during your party. If you have a really motivated hostess, have her run the chat box. That is brilliant. She can be oohing and awing over things. She can speak to you and point things out if you don't notice a thing in the chat box. She could be making other, you know, pointing out other things to the guests about the books that she loves as well. But whether she's interactive and pumped or not, you can use that chat box and give people permission to type questions in there as they go along. They will be far more likely to type a question than to speak out. So make sure you emphasize that for them. The other way that you can use that chat box is you can post links to things in there, clickable links. So at the very start of my, after I've done my introduction, just like I would at a home party when I start showing the books, I was one of those consultants that always handed out the catalog right away because I felt like I was holding people hostage otherwise, and I really wanted them to be able to look. So I do the same thing with my Zoom party. I give them the link to the flippable catalog because there just are people out there that want to do 12 things at once. And if they want to look at the catalog while I'm talking, that's just fine with me, because if that keeps them there, then that makes sense. So I post the link to the online catalog as I'm starting to talk about books. After I've talked about books, I've done Pretend Hostess and my recruiting talk, then I put up a link to my drawing slip. And I tell them that we're going to do a drawing for a free book. One guest is going to win a free book. So people like to win things, right? We all know that. So this is your opportunity to get their information. So I post the link to my drawing slip, which is a jot form that then comes directly to me. Many times it's while I'm still talking about books. My computer is dinging, dinging, dinging as I'm getting those jot forms. What I do is I then tell them that I'm going to do the drawing 30 minutes after the party ends on Facebook. That's my opportunity to drive them back to Facebook, to that event, so that I can share a little bit more information with them, so I can help them even further with their personal shopping and be connected to them. So about 30 minutes after the Zoom portion ends, I do a drawing for the free book on Facebook and post it there. In addition to this, on the chat box, you can post the link for the Facebook event. So if you want to get them off your Zoom party and back to Facebook immediately, post the link there. They can click it and they're back in the event. That's really cool. You can also post in that box your hostess's shopping link. This is very helpful. Not everybody will go back to Facebook to hang out. Maybe they'll wait till tomorrow to see if they won the book. Maybe they want to go shopping right away. If you post the shopping link there, again, they can go straight to our e-commerce site and start their shopping. Okay. So I'm just showing you, this is a little bit what it looks like. This is a kind of a broad view of where I'm doing my parties, and that's a whole nother story entirely, but I don't have internet where I live, so I had to rent space in a tiny little town where I could go and do my Zoom parties. And so that's why this looks just a tiny bit strange, but I will tell you, at the actual party, my hostesses and my guests don't see that much. They really pretty much just see the books behind me. What I really wanted to show with this with this slide, though, is that this chat area is really important to use, and it's on the right-hand side. You've got to make sure that you click on that on your desktop or laptop in order to see that clearly. And this brings up a good point. I really encourage you to do Zoom parties on your desktop or laptop. It works on phone and it works just fine for your party guests, but you have to do a lot of switching back and forth on a phone to be able to see everybody, to be able to look at the chat box, to be able to do all of that. So I find it to be much easier to do on a desktop or laptop. Okay, let me show you about sharing that catalog. And I mentioned that this is during the body of my presentation where I'm going to be sharing the catalog.
I kind of want to show you my top 10 favorites. And then I'll also show you a little bit of our flippable catalog. And I'm going to put that up right now, too. I'm going to put our flippable catalog in the chat box, because if you are someone that likes to multitask.
So then that link is right over here. You can see it. And that is the opportunity for them to look at the entire catalog while I'm talking. And I just think that is really helpful for a lot of people. Let's look at how the screen sharing works. I love, love, love this concept. And I have to tell you, as much as I love our e-commerce site, I really love being able to show 2 pages of books at once that may or may not be related to the book that I'm talking about, but I want them to see the breadth and the depth and like how diverse and how much we have to offer. And using the flippable catalog is brilliant for that.
My screen again to take you back to the page where you can see more of these, okay? Because this is kind of the older series, but we have lots and lots of them. Okay, right here. So this is 1001 Things to Spot is a great series. That's a little bit younger. Then we have the Things to Spot with stickers. Then we move up to our Cool Picture Puzzle series, which I would say would be a little bit more probably into second grade even, like toddler, second grade. And then the Great Wildlife Search.
So you can see, I'm trying to keep this succinct for you. You'll see all of this in the live party video, but that's how I'm using screen sharing, is to be able to show them all the different series at once, but I really only showed one book. Okay, this is where we are starting to wrap up and talk about the drawing slip. So I've done all the books. You can see this stack of books up here. I've done Pretend Hostess. I kind of then moved the books to the side because now I wanted to talk about joining the business, joining my team and how passionate I am and all the different reasons why people might join our company. But now I want to get them to that drawing slip so I can capture their information.
Because it's a drawing slip and we're going to do a drawing. What we're going to do is, after I answer a couple more questions for you here, we're going to all go back to our Facebook event if you want to. But if you're ready to shop, I'm going to put up the party link right now too. You can go straight to Kelsey's shopping event and start shopping. But if you have some questions, we can go back to Facebook. In 30 minutes there, I'm going to do the drawing for a winner of a free book, and I will post that on Facebook. And I will also be there to help you with any questions, to show you more things about books, really to help you personally with your shopping.
So that's the drawing slip and sort of the transition back to Facebook. A couple other things I wanted to point out here, though, which are super cool about Zoom. So down here, Jan Thayer, she has her video blocked. She took a shower and she felt like she didn't look that great for the party. So she blocked her video. And we talk about that in advance so people can do that. Really, Jan is actually over here. But you can see that if somebody blocks their video, their name is here. You can also see that I know their names. They're on the screen in most cases, and I can see whether they've muted themselves. So these are really, really helpful tools as you're doing the party. So like if you're asking Alyssa a question, it might take her a minute to, unmute herself and answer my question, but I can see her there, and I know how to engage appropriately with her. So those are some really wonderful, wonderful parts of the Zoom application. Okay, so this is really just even not the entire view of my drawing slip. Just make something wonderful and cute on Jotform, or have a team member share one with you, or a leader. I love Jotform for a couple of reasons. One, you can just very easily clone things and make them your own and use them. I love that I can embed that link somewhere and my guests can click on it. And then my favorite part actually about Jotform is that once I create that form and my guest fills it out, it goes 2 places. It goes to an inbox in Jotform, and I get an email every time. At the end of the party, I find it really efficient to go right to Jotform and scroll through my slips. I immediately see who's interested in having a party and who's interested in joining my team, so that I can start that follow-up and interaction immediately. So Jotform is a brilliant, brilliant tool to use in conjunction with Zoom as your drawing slip. Now, I'm just going to show you a few of the graphics that my leader on my team, Kelsey Rodfelt, created these. As I mentioned, we've been testing Zoom for a while, and so there's been a collaborative effort. I'm just going to tell you right now, I am not the graphic lady, which is why I created the Zoom party, because on Facebook, I felt like I just wasn't up to par in a lot of ways. So if you feel like that, here's the good news. You can just create a graphic once and use it over and over and over again, because the content of your party is you on Zoom. It's not great videos and cute graphics. It's the opportunity to switch it up and change your party every single night of the week, just by having different people in attendance, just by sharing different books, just by taking a different approach, and it's you and your guests. So, but to get them to Zoom, it's important to give them something in advance for people to start to understand this and see how easy it is to do. I'm sure when we first started doing Facebook parties, it was the same thing. There's a bit of a learning curve for people on Facebook. I would say to you that the learning curve is no stiffer on Zoom than it was when people first had to figure out how to keep refreshing their screen on Facebook and how all of that worked. But give them some graphics prior to the party to overcome their objections before they're even raised, so they can see how easy this is. So this is a graphic showing them how to do it on their phone. This is a graphic showing them how to do it on their desktop, which is slightly different, okay? Now, let me show you another graphic that I created that I felt was really important leading up to the party. This is a home party. They should grab a pen and paper to write down all their favorite books. I want them to grab a snack and have fun, just like we do on Facebook. I want to remind them that they're going to have fun live with their friends. And then most importantly, I want them to know that if they don't look great or if their kids are noisy, that they can still come to the party regardless, because they can mute themselves and they can block their video. And I talk about this at least one other time during the party process leading up to the actual Zoom party, because I think that's an important thing. People really, while they love the anonymity of Facebook and people not being able to see them, then on the flip side, they didn't feel very connected. Well, they can feel more connected this way, but they can still kind of not show their face if they're uncomfortable, or they can block their kids and use the chat box, for sound or to communicate. So I think it's really important to share this as well. One other graphic I wanted to share with you was this one, because again, I realize it's a kind of a new concept, but I, right after the party, when I go back to Facebook, I put the link for my Jot form in my post with this graphic because I want them to fill out that drawing slip. Not everybody is engaging with me on Facebook, and my drawing slip gives them the opportunity to share with me how they would like to communicate, and it is very, very useful. So this is another graphic just to kind of show that. So this is a broad overview of sort of the components of the Zoom party. I will tell you that I think it is fantastic. But of course, I'm the one that created it, so I guess you hear that from me. But I've done about 15 of these so far, and it is a new concept. I haven't encountered anyone else that has used it for a party. So here's the exciting thing about that. We at Usborne Books and More have the opportunity to be the groundbreakers on this. I'm sure all of you can come up with better graphics and more interesting and unique ideas, and I hope that you'll share them right back with the field again, like I've shared this with you, because together we are all better and stronger, and this is where we're going. So have fun and launch your parties into the future.